Today is the 27th of January, 2010. We are at the terrace at Beaverwick in Slingerlands, New York. And my name is Wayne Clarke. I'm with the New York State Military Museum and Veterans Research Center, Saratoga Springs, New York. Sir, for the record, would you please state your full name and your date and place of birth, please?
Raymond E. Primeau, was born 3/28/61. I was born in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey.
And you mentioned your father was full-time military?
Yep, he was 26 years in the Army, retired.
Mm-hmm. And were you born on a military base?
Yes.
Okay. And did you attend school down there or different places?
Different places in Virginia, mainly in Virginia and New York.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school.
And where did you graduate from high school from?
Cohoes High here in New York.
And what year did you graduate?
1980.
Did you go on to college at that point? Or
No, I didn't. I went directly in the military.
Okay. And you went into the Army?
Yep, went into the Army.
And was that because your father was in the Army?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was in the military and I followed in his footsteps.
All right. And where did you go for your basic training?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
It was different.
Mm-hmm. Was it difficult?
Yes, it was to me.
Okay. And that was an 8-week basic training?
I believe so, it was.
And once you completed your basic, whereabouts did you go?
I went to Fort Leavenworth, Missouri to do my AIT, which was for, at the time they called it 64 Charlie, a truck driver.
Mm-hmm. And what type of trucks did you drive?
Anywhere from the Jeep all the way up to M915, which was a 10-ton truck that hauled the tanks.
Mm-hmm. And how long was that school for?
I believe it was 12 to 14 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Did you learn any mechanical training down there, how to change tires or?
Yes, we did. We had all the training on how to maintain the vehicles, check the oil, change the tires, grease them up and all that.
Let me just ask you something. How dangerous are those truck tires? I've heard stories of the rings.
Yes, when I was stationed in Hawaii, there was one person there that was, because we had to use a pick and get on top to break the ring, but he didn't get all the air out of the tire, and the ring came up and took part of his forehead right off.
Oh.
He survived that incident, but it was a bad sight at the time.
Mm-hmm. All right. After you completed that training, were you promoted at the end of that?
Yeah, I was an E2 at the time.
An E2, okay.
Yeah, I went in as an E2 for some reason. I can't recall why.
All right. And were you promoted to a PFC or?
Not
then. Okay. All right. And whereabouts were you sent next?
I was sent to Schofield Barracks in Hawaii with, I believe it was the 25th Infantry Division.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do in Hawaii?
I drove truck, 2.5-ton truck with a trailer or water buffalo on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. Did you do a lot of field maneuvers?
All the time.
Training?
Yep, we were always constantly out in the field for training with other units. A lot of time we drove troops to the air assault training course, and we stay up there all day and come back at night. Basically, we did that.
Did you go through the air assault course yourself?
Yes, I did.
All right.
I think it was in 1981 I did that.
Okay.
Because I figured, well, since I got to drive them and I see it, might as well do it.
Well, speaking of that course, how difficult was that? Was there a lot of PT and physical activity
involved? There was a lot
involved?
of physical action involved in that there, more so than I thought basic training was. But it was different because you're rappelling helicopters and down mountains, and you're learning how to land helicopters on the landing zone, so it was interesting. It was something different.
Mm-hmm. How long was that school for, approximately?
I want to say 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay, so it was pretty intense then.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what was your living conditions like in Hawaii? You said Schofield Barracks.
Yep, it was just like what you see in the movie Pearl Harbor. The old World War II buildings there.
Okay.
And it still had the bullet holes in the walls you could see.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
And it, what was it? It was normally a 6-man room with bunks in it.
Mm-hmm.
And a shower was located off the balcony in another part of the building.
Okay.
But it was nice.
Mm-hmm. And how expensive was it being off post? I mean, did you have a car at all?
No, I did not have a car because I couldn't afford it
Mm-hmm.
over there. Like the beers were $5.50 a bottle back then, which
Mm-hmm.
that was expensive. Everything was expensive down there.
In Hawaii?
Yep, when you were off the military base.
Mm-hmm.
On the base, it was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. How were you treated by the civilian populace off base?
At the time I was down there, the Samoans didn't really like the military personnel, and there was one of them that was they were trying to find because they were killing soldiers
Really?
at the time when I was down there. But in general, most of the people were friendly
Mm-hmm.
to the military.
Mm-hmm. How long were you in Hawaii for?
2 years.
Mm-hmm. And were you promoted at all at that time?
Yeah, I was promoted to PFC.
Okay. And after your 2-year tour, were you discharged or were you sent somewhere else?
No, I was discharged in California
Okay.
from there.
Whereabouts in California?
I can't recall.
Was it Fort Ord?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
It was close to San Francisco. That's why I can remember of it.
Okay. And you went back home?
I went back home to New York, Cohoes, and from there I joined the National Guard.
Okay. Did you make use of the GI Bill at all when you were discharged?
GI Bill, which
The GI Bill of Rights, or?
I used the one for buying a home.
Oh, okay.
The VA loan thing, I guess.
Okay. Were you married at that point?
No,
Okay.
but I used the loan thing after I got married.
All right. Now, what did you do as a civilian?
Well, for the first year I didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I just lived off my savings and unemployment.
Okay. All right.
Wanted to take a vacation.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did you you went into the National Guard, but did you have any civilian training besides being in the Guard at all?
No.
Okay. Now, what kind of Guard unit did you join?
I want to say it's a 205th Support. They were based out of Troy.
Okay. And was that a truck unit?
Not really. We supported, I believe every 2 weeks when we took off, we went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and did our training there. I guess we were attached to the 82nd for some reason.
Okay. And you drove truck?
I drove a deuce and a half.
Okay. All right.
And plus, in that unit, I also was trained as a mechanic too.
Mm-hmm. Now, how long were you with the Guard?
7, 8 years.
Okay. And then you switched over to the reserves?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Army Reserves after that.
Why did you make the switch to the reserves? Any particular reason?
Yes, at the time with the Guards and going away, I went away more than 2 weeks a year. I had 2 kids, 2 little kids, and a wife, and I needed to be home more with them.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, my job at the time needed me here instead of going away.
Okay. All right. And you were discharged in 1993.
Yes.
All right. And we just go back to when you were on active duty. Did you stay in touch with any of the people you were in service with?
Just one particular guy, which he is now with my son's unit down in Virginia that I see when I go down there.
Okay. Have you attended any reunions at all?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did you join any veterans organizations?
Yes, I'm with the American Legion.
Okay. All right. And currently you're working for this facility, the Terrace?
I work for Beverwyck,
Beverwyck.
part of Northeast Health.
Okay. Right. And you've got some photographs from when you were on active duty.
Yep.
You want to hold those up and tell us when they were taken?
This one here was taken during my basic training,
Okay.
and this one here was when I was in Hawaii and we were heading out for our team Sperry.
Okay.
And this one here was on one of the islands in Hawaii where we were at a volcano doing maneuvers.
All right.
And this one here was we were on another island in Hawaii doing maneuvers too.
Okay. Now, when you were in the National Guard or Reserves, was your unit ever activated for like any of the storms or?
We were activated for one of the storms I can recall with the National Guard, and we brought the trucks down in Troy, and we were loading up trees that fell down.
Mhm.
I can't recall which year that was.
Okay. All right, that was the only time your unit was activated?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any other incidents you can recall, or any humorous events, or anything that stands out in your mind about the military that we didn't cover at all?
No, the only one that stood out was when one soldier, the ring from the tire got his head.
Okay. How do you think your time in the service and in the National Guard changed or affected your life?
More discipline, more, what I want to say, more job focus, and more with the family too.
Mm-hmm.
Because being away from the family, you see what you missed.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. So, you mentioned your son is in the military currently.
Yes, he's in the
Do you want to
military.
Do you want to tell us about what he's doing and what kind of training he had?
He's in the Army. He went in a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia. He graduated from Air Assault School just like me, and he's currently deployed to Haiti to help them out, and he's attached to the 82nd Airborne right now for them.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your interview.
You're welcome.